Hi, we're here with the Watch Out for Fireballs podcast fellas. They're here showing off their wares to tell them about what they do. What do you guys do for your podcast?
We are like a book club, but for games. Every episode we pick a game, we play it, we talk about it in way too much length, way too much detail. We've been going for almost 6 years now, so we have like 150, 160 games that we've talked about and covered, and we actually have a whole network of shows in addition to this.
That's awesome. So basically anybody could just sort of look at your list of what you've done so far and just pick a game that they like and go right into it?
Yes. Pick a game I think would be a good way to do it, because if you especially like something that we've played, there's no guarantee that we're not going to tear it to shreds. Yeah.
Yeah. No. I appreciate that very much. Going into the real nitty gritty of things. What's your guys' background in video games? Like, where are your centers? What's your basis?
Yeah, so I've been playing video games since I was very young, playing Atari games. I got older, got a PC, Super Nintendo. Went through my JRPG phase, played all of the Super Nintendo classics of that. Didn't start thinking about games really seriously until I started podcasting probably 8 years ago or so. Before we started this, I did a minor show and started thinking about what makes this good, what makes this bad, what are the designers trying to do with this decision. And it's the kind of thing like any piece of art where you start deciding that you realize nothing is arbitrary. Everything is there either because of a limitation or because of a goal. It's either they wanted to do something and couldn't do it, or they wanted to do something and did. And that's what makes art. And once you start seeing those strings and tearing them apart, I think it's very interesting. You kind of find this anatomy of what makes it tick.
I appreciate that. Have you guys had the opportunity to interview any of these people within the industry and really be able to pick their brains? And could you recommend anything that you guys have done with that regard?
Yeah, so we have spoken with Chris Avallone, formerly of Black Isle, now with Obsidian, for a couple of episodes, actually, about Fallout 2 and about Alpha Protocol. We've also spoken with Ron Gilbert twice, about Maniac Mansion and about Monkey Island 2. So those are our two kind of big gets. We've actually had both of them twice. And those were both really good and good experiences, so I'd recommend going and getting those.
Where can we find out more about you guys and what you guys do? And I know you guys have a Patreon. Could you tell us about that as well?
Yes. So we are part of a network, actually mostly of shows that we do, called duckfeed.tv. That is the URL. But you can also do a search for Watch Out for Fireballs on iTunes or on just Google itself. And then the Patreon is at patreon.com/duckfeedtv.
Okay, well, now you mentioned you have other stuff. What other podcasts you guys do? What else is involved in this network?
Yeah, so the two kind of principal shows are Watch Out for Fireballs, which is the Games Club. We also do a show called Bonfireside Chat. We are equally or more known for that. That is a series based on the Dark Souls series of games. And then we've done a bunch of smaller things that you charitably would call vanity projects. They're things that we just think is fun. We do a show called Abject Suffering, which is we take a bad game and we kind of improvise around it. We do a show called File Underwater, which is about the music of REM. We're both big music nerds. There's a show called Days of Future Cast, which is about the X-Men animated series. Radio Free Midworld, which is a book-by-book exploration of the Dark Tower series, Stephen King. So, we're complex people who have lots of hobbies. So we like to kind of diversify with that.
Cool. Well, very cool. Check them out.